Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Anthony Momodu. The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on the newly sworn-in officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration not to perform below the expectation of the administration. The minister gave the charge during the swearing-in of the first head of service, the permanent secretaries, chairman, and commissioners of the FCT Civil Service Commission, Abuja, and the Abuja Metropolitan Management Council and Satellite Towns Development Department in Abuja. He says his administration will send those who will fail to perform parking. Kikelomo Okere has the details.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory charged the new officials to be committed and loyal, saying that they owed it to President Bola Tinubu to make sure that FCT works. He described the occasion as a memorable day for FCT, urged the new appointees to support the government of President Tinubu in realizing the New Hope agenda, and warned the newly sworn-in permanent secretary against performing below expectation and undue delay of files, adding that there will be issuance of queries for non-performance.
Again, to the permanent secretaries, yes, you have been made a permanent secretary, but you know what comes with it. As a permanent secretary, you have become a political appointee. Did you write the exam to a permanent secretary? So you know the implication of that. If you perform below expectation, there's nothing like query. There's nothing like query him as proper civil service rules. We have no time for that. We'll just send you packing as permanent secretary. So just know it very well now. I say it, I don't want to hear, now that we're heading secretariats, you have your mandate secretaries as your political heads. I don't want to hear that files are unduly delayed.
He further stated that he had directed the reshuffling of directors and the administration will defend the 2024 budget at the National Assembly.
Just recently, we found out somebody who was sabotaging the works of the FCTA. But thank God, all those bad people have all left. All those who don't want you to be independent, who wanted permanent secretaries from the Federal Civil Service, they have all left. But please, we want you to assist, we want you to support the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to realize the renewed hope agenda.
The FCTA officials were sworn in by the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, represented by Justice Sivino Orji, administered their oath of office and oath of allegiance. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Edo State House of Assembly passed a resolution directing the Chief Judge of the state, Justice Daniel Okumbowa, to set up a 7-man committee to investigate the allegations of gross misconduct leveled against the Deputy Governor, Philip Shuaibu. At the plenary, 19 members out of the 24 members voted in favor of the resolution. The House of Assembly commenced impeachment proceedings against Shuaibu on March 5th, accusing him of perjury and leaking of government secrets. However, all efforts to get the impeachment notice to him proved abortive, as he was said to be out of the state. After it became clear that the notice could not be served physically, the House served him the notice on March 12 through substitution by publishing the letter in 3 national dailies. The impeachment move is believed to be the latest development in the rift between Shuaibu and his principal, Governor Godwin Obaseki. The Federal High Court in Abuja rejected the bail application by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice Binta Nyaku, however, granted an accelerated hearing instead. Counsel for the IPOB leader, Aloy Ejimakor, had at the last adjourned date urged the court to admit Nnamdi Kanu to bail before the commencement of the trial. Ejimakor stated that Kanu's health condition was deteriorating, adding that his continued detention by the DSS was a threat to his life. Ejimakor also argued that the continued incarceration of Kanu would not enable him to put up a good defense in the matter, but the counsel for the federal government, Adegboyega Awomolo SAN, urged the court to dismiss the bail application and instead grant an accelerated hearing. He noted that the DSS has a medical facility that could take care of him. Abia State House of Assembly has passed a bill to stop the payment of pensions to former governors and their deputies in the state. It is entitled a Bill HAB 11 for the law to revoke the Abia State Governor and Deputy Governor's Pensions Law No. 4 of 2001 and for other matters connected therewith. It was sponsored by Uchenna Okoro, the majority leader and member representing Arochukwu State Constituency. The Speaker, Emmanuel Emeruwa, announced the passage of the bill after its first and second reading consideration at the Committee of the Whole and its third reading during the day's plenary. The federal government said it would provide student hostels in 36 tertiary institutions across the country. This is even as the government has indicated its willingness to construct more hostels once these first sets are completed. The Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, Sonny Ochono, stated this when he hosted the new leadership of the National Association of Nigerian Students led by its president, Lucky Monefe, according to a statement by the fund on Wednesday in Abuja. In the statement, the TED Fund Director of Public Affairs quoted Ochono as pointing out that there is increased allocation for maintenance of TED Fund infrastructures above 5 years in the 2024 intervention cycle. The federal government says it has uncovered the identity of 15 entities, including 9 individuals and 6 bureau de change operators and firms allegedly involved in terrorism financing. Details of the development were reviewed by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit in an email sent to the correspondent entitled Designation of Individuals and Entities for March 18, 2024. The document revealed that the Nigerian Sanctions Committee met on March 18, 2024, where specific individuals and entities were recommended for sanction following their involvement in terrorism financing. Among the individuals named in the document was a Kaduna-based publisher Tuku Mamu, who is currently being tried by the federal government for allegedly aiding the terrorists who attacked the Abuja-Kaduna train in March 2022. The governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oborowere, has briefed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the 16 soldiers that were gruesomely murdered in Okwama community of the state. Briefing State House correspondent after the meeting behind closed doors with the president, the governor said that the situation is under control, assuring that there will be no more further attacks. The governor declined to confirm the report of reprisal attacks allegedly carried out by the military and the number of casualties, saying that being a security issue, there are certain things he cannot say in public. He said that he met with the security heads in Bomadi on Monday, but has been unable to meet with the community involved because the place of the incident is completely deserted. Air strikes by Nigerian Air Force aircraft under Operation Wow Punch have continued to decimate terrorists and their logistics, especially in the northwest and north-central regions of Nigeria. One of such successes was recorded on March 15, 2024, when strikes by the NAV aircraft successfully targeted and destroyed terrorist logistics storage situated in Palele near Shiroro in Niger State. Acting on credible intelligence indicating the presence of terrorist weapons cake east of Palele, authorization was obtained to deploy air asset to neutralize the threat. The operation, which was executed with speed and precision, resulted in significant damage to the target area, including a secondary explosion confirming the destruction of arms and ammunition. The weapons are believed to be affiliated to a particular terrorist kingpin who is on the most wanted list of terrorists. National President Nigerian Labour Congress Joe Ajaero has called on the federal government to pay the 4-month withheld salaries of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational Associated Institutions. This was in reaction to the 7-day warning strike that SANU and NASU began, which grounded universities' activities across the country. SANU and NASU had for about a month called the attention of the government to its exclusion from the payment of the withheld salaries, which it commenced payment for the Academic Staff Union of Universities in February. Their salaries were withheld when the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari invoked the no work, no pay policy against the Academic Staff Union of Universities and SANU for embarking on a strike that lasted 8 months and 4 months in 2022, respectively. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti has approved the payment of bursary awards to Abia State indigenes in law schools across the nation. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, OK Kanu, disclosed this while briefing journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor in Umuahia on Monday. He said the approval of the bursary was in keeping with the premium the state government places on education. He added that the state government has approved the renovation of 170 primary schools, which translates to 10 primary schools per local government area. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational Associated Institutions, and the National Association of Academic Technologists of the University of Lagos staged a peaceful protest in front of the school's gate. They blocked vehicular movement and hindered the free flow of traffic in the environment. They sang and displayed various placards to register their grievances with the federal government over their withheld salaries. The JAC of SANU and NASU had for about a month called on the government's attention to its exclusion from the payment of the withheld salaries, which it commenced payment for the Academic Staff Union of Universities in February. Their salaries were withheld when the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari invoked a no work, no pay policy against the ASU, SANU, and NATS, who embarked on the strike that lasted 8 months and 4 months and 5.5 months, respectively, in 2022. The Nigerian Labour Congress stormed the National Secretariat of the Labour Party in Abuja to protest the party's national convention planned for the end of the month. The Congress also demanded the sacking of the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure. The NLC leadership accused Abure of planning to hold a secret convention without the input of major stakeholders. The planned convention has pitched Abure against the NLC and the House of Representatives caucus. The workers accused Abure of planning to destroy the Labour Party. The Federal Road Safety Corps has disclosed that 10 persons were killed in an Abuja-Kaduna road crash while 48 sustained various injuries. This was contained in a statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal and Corps Public Education Officer Jonas Ago in Abuja. According to the statement, the crash, which involved a DAF trailer, occurred as a result of excessive speed and overloading and fatigue. This, however, caused the driver to lose control of the wheels, thereby crashing into a ditch along the route. The report from the crash also revealed that it occurred at exactly 10:30 and involved a total of 172 people, all male adults. Unfortunately, 10 victims were killed, while 48 were rescued with different degrees of injuries. The Nigerian Air Force NAF has destroyed the arms storage facility of one of the most wanted terrorists operating in Niger State. The military operatives acting under Operation continued to combat the northwest and north-central regions of Nigeria to smoke out the terrorists. Spokesperson for the Air Force, Edward Gambwet, an Air Vice Marshal, made this known in a statement in which he disclosed that credible intelligence gave away the storage facility of the terrorist. The Nigerian Air Force NAV aircraft under Operation OPWP has continued to decimate terrorists and their logistics, especially in the northwest and north-central regions of Nigeria. The Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 58 suspected criminals after a raid across different locations in the state. The Adamawa State Commissioner of Police, Damkombo Morris, said this when he addressed newsmen in Yola, the state capital. Morris said the suspects included 40 young men who were believed to be members of a notorious group, Sheila Boys. 11 of them were arrested for kidnapping, while 7 were arrested for armed robbery. The Edo State House of Assembly has directed the state Judge Justice Daniel Okumbowa to set up a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the state Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu. The State Assembly is accusing the Deputy Governor of misconduct and divulging government information to the public. The panel is expected to carry out a thorough investigation into the allegations and make necessary recommendations. The brief sitting was presided over by Speaker Honorable Blessing Agbebaku. Recall that the Edo State House of Assembly earlier this month began an impeachment move against Shaibu, accusing him of constitutional infractions. But Shaibu denied being served with impeachment notice from the State House of Assembly, as claimed by the Speaker, Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, during plenary. You're watching News Cycle coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on StarTime, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, subsidy removal, federal government, state and local government allocations hit 10.14 trillion naira. These and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of News Cycle. Thank you for staying with us. On the foreign scene, a bus carrying students from a top Kenyan university collided with a truck on a busy highway after skidding in heavy rain, killing 11 of them and seriously injuring 42. Police has said the accident occurred at 5:50 p.m. at the Mungu, 360 kilometers from the capital, Nairobi, when the students from Kenyatta University were traveling to a coastal town of Mombasa. 10 people from the Kenyan University died on impact and another died later in hospital. Police said, adding that 42 were seriously injured. The police report said the driver of the university bus was overtaking a fleet of motor vehicles, and as it was raining heavily, the bus skidded to the right side of the road. Britain's annual inflation rate fell more than expected in February. Official data showed fueling speculation that the Bank of England will cut interest rates this year. Inflation reached 3.4% last month, the lowest level since September 2021, after hitting 4.0% in January, according to the Office of the National Statistics. The consensus had been for consumer prices to rise by 3.5% in February, according to a Bloomberg survey. Inflation remains well above the Bank of England's 2% target. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said all of Gaza's 2 million people are experiencing severe levels of acute food insecurity. This was a first time an entire population had been so classified. He says when questioned about conditions in the territory, Blinken called on Israel to prioritize providing for those in need. United Nations agencies have said North Gaza could face famine by May without a pause in the fighting and a surge in aid. Blinken's warning came during a trip to the Philippines as U.S. officials announced that they would then travel to the Middle East, his 6th trip to the region since October. as efforts to secure a ceasefire continues. An elite unit of South Africa's police has raided the Johannesburg home of the Speaker of Parliament, Nosiviwe Mapisa, over corruption allegations. She has been accused of soliciting bribes in return for awarding contracts when she served as defense minister. The police unit was acting on behalf of the state prosecutors who have been carrying out an investigation. The statement from the parliament said that the police conducted a search and seizure procedure at Mapisa Nkagula's residence, adding that she welcomed the investigators into her home, cooperating fully during the 5-hour search. The 67-year-old veteran of the anti-apartheid struggle became speaker in 2021. Before that, she served as defense minister in 9 years. And in business, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has presented the FCT 2024 statutory budget proposal of 1.147 trillion naira to both the Senate and House of Representative committees on FCT. Making the presentation before the Senate committees, the FCT minister disclosed that the budget revenues sources would be made up of internally generated revenue, infrastructure support fund, among others. Kikelmo Okere tells us more.
The Minister of Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, noted that the total sum of fiscal framework comprises of proposed distributable revenue of over 510.3 billion naira and non-distributable revenue of 637,416 billion naira.
We have a fiscal framework of sum of 1,147,610,283 naira, comprising distributable revenue of 510.3 billion and non-distributable revenue of 637.4 billion.
Wike, giving highlights of the FCT appropriation bill, says 280 billion naira is earmarked for overhead, 726 billion naira for capital projects, and 140 billion naira for personnel, bringing the total budget to 1.147 trillion naira. He further highlighted some of the projects to be executed from 2024 FCT statutory budget proposal,
which has been proposed for the FCT 2024 statutory budget after due deliberations with all the revenue generating agencies of the FCT, also taking into consideration the parameters allotted in paragraph 8 above. Now, when you compare the revised 2023 appropriation of the sum of 641 billion, there's an increase of the sum of 506 billion, which is 44%. In the 2024 statutory budget proposal. The increase is as a result of the expected loan from the commercial bank since we have exited from TSC in the sum of 500 billion.
Presenting the budget before the House of Representative Committee on FCT, Wike listed some of the critical projects to be executed by FCT administration in 2024 statutory budget proposal, to include completion of roads B6, B12, construction of access road and car park for Abuja Light Rail Day Gwagwa Station, Lot 5, full scope of development of area road from Northway Park to other Northern Express. He also said there will be provision of engineering infrastructure to Guzapi, provision of engineering infrastructure to Wuye District, extension of Inner Southern Express from Southern Way Park to Ring Road, full scope development of FCT Highway, among others.
That's it on News Cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Anthony Momodu saying thank you for watching, and see you again.